Morning guys, Mark Fresh Protect Dog Training with Benoît, and I've got Joker on a downstay out here, and I don't have a class with a bunch of people and a structure to be able to use, so I'm going to use Joker because I know he's going to do a solid downstay. And we know that this dog is very reactive to other dogs. He's lunged at several dogs already. He's already had corrections and we've worked him through it, so he understands what he's supposed to do now, and I'm just going to push the envelope because I know Joker can handle it and I won't have a problem. You notice how intent he is on this other dog? Very much so. So I'm going to kind of float my bubble around this. Think of him as having his own bubble around him, right? Good. Benoît, with me. Good. And this would be an example of how much work I put in getting the dog to understand his job within the obedience. And then once you've got the tools in the tool bag, being able to use it to set the dog up. And you're doing it on purpose because the dog has one last thing that he has to understand as far as you've done all this work. The sit, the heel, right about turns. He's now at my side. He's what I call subservant to the obedience. In other words, the awareness of the obedience, right? And one of those first ones is that right about turn. With me? Good. So when I do a right about turn, I float. No. Good. All right, come here. Let me get this out of here. That's not his fault. Good. He's all right, with me? Good. All right, so with me, this would be a good example of using a turn, the right about, which was one of the most important ones that you can do because the dog it all starts from the eyes and he starts centering on the other thing. It might be off to the right, it might be in the forward. I'm using forward right now, right? Right towards this. So when I heel, I'm going to go towards that distraction just like I would any other thing without the reactivity. And I'm going to do a right about turn when I think he might go that way. And even before, I might do it before to reaffirm the positive because it's not all just negative. There's positive involved too, how you mix things up. You hear me talking about that a lot as well, right? So good, good. I'm baiting him, getting him into the food, get him to be aware of where his head's at, which is in the work, right? In my obedience. Good, good. Benoît, with me. Good. We'll go right towards the object and then away, okay? And notice he's not even paying attention to that because he knows that I'm going to give him a correction for not being where he's supposed to be, right? Now we're over the hump with him, with me. I've got to get him to be able to do this with the owners because that's the weakness. Remember, that's pack interplay, and it's the relationship that the owner has with the dog. And if the owner is insecure and weak and right away put tension on the leash, what's tension going to cause? If they go towards something and they're worried about it, they put tension on the leash. If you guys have been watching me for any length of time, you know that's opposition reflex. It's going to make the dog go forward and really bow up because that's what we use that in protection all the time, right? So keeping slack in that leash is very important. And then out of the blue, you do a right about turn. If he's not paying attention to you because his brain is here, you're doing a right about turn going the other way, you're going to be able to give a good stiff tap and reaffirm what you do want of him, right? So in other words, that pack leadership, you having a commanding force in this dog's head and how you relate to him is very important. So the first thing I'll tell the owners is they need to practice these turns and stay at home for a little while. Get this turns doing in the backyard. Get this dog working for them. Grow their relationship in that context with the context of the alpha wolf, meaning the leader of the pack, okay? I don't mean I have to, when I say alpha wolf, a lot of people think I need to dominate. No, it's what you expect of the animal. You're dominating him just in what you expect, right? So I'm going to do a float by this time. I'm going to float by right here, expecting the dog to maybe make a mistake and go to my left. Good. Good. That's my boy. Good. Are you ready? Ready? Good. Are you ready? Ready? Good. Good, Benoît. With me. Good boy. Good. And notice how I did a nice right about turn away. I'm reminding him again of what I might do that he's got to be subservient to, the obedience. Good. Good boy. Good. Now, if he was to try to go towards that, I'm going to do a right-hand turn and go away from it, right? I have turns and I have tools in my tool bag that I've built into this dog's obedience that I have to be able to use, right? Good. Good. Now, the big rule of this with dealing with reactivity is I can't go out on the first day without any tools in my tool bag In other words, all these turns that have been conditioned in, the obedience, the relationship with me. I can't go out on day one and go out there and expect the dog to not go blow up on another dog. And then I beat the shit out of him by correcting the hell out of him, trying to get him to stop. That's not conducive to training. You have to work this stuff to put the tools into the tool bag first. Get the dog working. Beno, down. Good, stay. Get the dog working first and then start to apply it, right? Now, I just caught the dog, and you didn't realize it because you're not reading the animal like I do, but I caught the dog staring at this dog, looking for a reaction out of Joker to get eye contact, body language, anything that make this dog want to go off on it, okay? Joker, this isn't his first rodeo. Joker's not looking at the dog. He's giving total, look at him. He's down, he knows what I'm doing. He senses and understands what I'm up to. This is what a good dog's all about, that I built to a point where I can use this dog all the time for all kinds of other dogs. You hear me talking about how you build a mentor dog, right? Using another dog to build a mentor dog, that dog's body language and everything helps me work with a dog that might be reactive, might be having problems. I don't have one right now that I've built in. I'm using Joker, but there's times that I've had dogs that I've actually built for the purpose of being a mentor dog and getting reactive dogs through things, right? With Joker, it's not a problem. He's looking at Joker right now. Been with me. Good boy, good. And what I'm doing is I'm catching his brain before he goes to another level, goes to another place, that he might go off on the dog. He's a sensitive dog. He's very aware and sensitive of the pinch collar. I don't need much. I don't need to put, there might be another dog that would be a lot less. And another dog I might not put to this level, depending on the training flow. We're getting towards the end where we're at this point now that, like I said, I would like him to be in a class with getting flooded and a bunch of other dogs and do a lot of pass-bys and do a lot of things that are applicable to what I need to overcome. And I've got a friend of mine over on the other side of the hill that I might go to a doggy park on the outside. Now, when I talk doggy parks, what I'm talking about is we work on the outside of that dog park with the fence lines, the dogs that might be coming up the fence line and barking and giving us hell. And I can use the same philosophies of floating that bubble and getting the dog to be subservient to the obedience and use that as a tool. I can use a dog park on the outside of the dog park. Right? I'm never going to go inside of the dog park because I have no control of all these dogs that are off leash coming everywhere. And again, their behavior is based on what their owners have allowed them to do. And most of them in a dog park situation have been conditioned to go into the dog park and be over precocious and romping and all that good stuff that I don't want. Here's another reason I don't use dog parks. We talk about the negative in the dog park. It's a Russian roulette. You take a young dog into a dog park and another precocious Malamute or Husky or whatever comes over and starts pouncing on them. Your dog goes up underneath the bench and you think it's okay. The dog's not affected by it. Hell yes, he's affected by it, right? Now that may end up creating such an emotional state of mind that now that dog becomes reactive, right? Because he doesn't like getting messed with that much. Look at this eye contact. Beno, down. Good. Okay. So I'm not going to correct him for his eye contact, but I am going to be aware of his body language and what he's doing with his body language, saying, I want to go after that dog, and I'm going to set him up. I'm going to catch him where he's going to want to do it, and I'm going to do a right about turn, right-hand turn. I'm going to take off the opposite direction, and I'm going to give him a good tap and a good correction, reaffirm where he's supposed to be, right? Because I've done enough of this work that now he understands that I'm going to correct him for this negative behavior. Okay, but it didn't start out that way, and it's not going to be that way in a general sense. The other one is make sure that you get your positive in. So when the dog's doing right, I'm right there with hot dogs. I'm right there with all kinds of voice tone. Anything I can get the dog to reaffirm that this is the spot he wants to be, right? On my leg and being positive. Good. Beno, good. Nope. Down. Good boy. Good. There you go. Good boy. Good. Notice how quick he reacted to the no and putting him back into a down. All that is relationship and voice tone awareness on his part, right? Because I'm so much into the voice tone, so much into my body language, this dog's picked up on that. Now I've got to try to transfer that to the owner and get them to understand what they need to do with the dog and build their own relationship and their own patterns and everything else. And that's going to take a little bit of work. That's the hard part. The owner's the biggest problem overall. The humans are the ones that cause all these problems. It's not the dogs. Dogs are just being dogs, right? Your understanding of a dog's nature and his whole instincts and what he is as a creature and working with him properly, that's the key, right? And that means the owner's got to get off the couch. They got to put the work in. They got to learn and they got to grow with their animal, right? Good. Good. Beno, With me. Good boy. Good. There you go. Good boy. Good. That's my boy. Good. All right. Good boy, Benno. Good. Good. Joker. Joker. I see. Good. Couche. Good boy. Joker. I see. Pablo J. Good. Whoa. That's what I was looking for. Okay. And I set that up on purpose because I knew the dog might get enticed because the dog was in a different body language and he started to get excited. Joker. I see. Good boy. Pablo J. Okay. So now I've done a correction. Good. That's my boy. Good. And I expect the dog to possibly go off. Good. With me? With me? Good. That's good. Couche. Down. Down. Good. With me? Good. Now I'm going to put him right next to him. Good boy. Good. Nope. Good. Down. Good. And I don't know if you saw that. He was on the other side of my body for the camera. But what I did is I said no, and the dog right away is subservient to the obedience. Doesn't mean I created this by pounding the dog. I did it in such a way that we built all these tools so he is aware of and subservient to the obedience. And all the purely positive people are going to say, oh yeah, you're going to get into how you beat the dog. You didn't know. We did it all in neutral lab. We did a lot of work and we grew it in our environment. This dog is ready to go to that next level. We've got to try to create that. And then I've got to get the owners understanding what to do. Good. Good. Benno, with me. Good. There you go. Good boy. Good. There you go. With me. Ah, shoot. I'm using the wrong command. Good. All right, Benno. We're going to do it here. Good. Good. Good boy. Down. Good. That's my boy. Good. Now, you might not ever get a dog to be able to be this compliant as far as Joker being such a good patsy dog, right? A good setup dog. But it's important that we do this. We have to set up some kind of formula that's going to work for us. And usually it's going to be other people that may not have the same skill level as me that I'm asking to do certain things with their dogs. And so my distance is going to be farther away because I might have an accident. I know that I'm as quick on the draw as far as this dog goes off on him. I'm going this way, somehow, some way. I'm going to give a jerk and I'm going to go that way and I'm going to correct the dog for it. And I'm ready for expecting the expected, right? I've talked about this before. You have to learn that once the dog does something once, he's invariably going to do it again until I condition the dog through it. Okay, in the beginning, it's always going to be that way. Good. Stay. Good. Good. I'm going to do a return to me, which is going to put him in a vulnerable spot because his back is to the dog. Good. Benno. Here. Good boy. Good. Here. Good. Here. Good. That's my boy. Good. Here. Good. Look at you. Yes. Good. Yes. Now, this is rough on the edges. It's not perfect. But at the same time, I've got my voice tone in there to be able to say, no, good, yes, he knows what this voice tones mean, positive or negative, right? Good, even a chastise tone. You see, you heard me, I kind of went to a chastise. Nope, you hear, you look. Good, you look. Good, good, Benno. Good. Down. Good, well, he hasn't done any of those, so I'm just now starting with it. So I've got a few more days, sit, and if I can try it, I'm going to go down to that dog park maybe today or tomorrow. Yes. Where I can try to get some setup and some pass-bys and some other things. Good. Yes. And I will be going probably to High Caliber over in Rancho Cucamonga. A good friend of mine. Good. Yes. And we'll work a little bit on it, I hope. Nope. Or I'm going to give Oscar Mora a call and see if he's got a class I can participate in that I can give the dog what I need to get the dog through this. Good. He's at that next level. We're ready, just about ready to put the cherry on top. Good. Good. With me. Good. That's my boy. Good. There you go. Good boy. Good. There you go. Good boy, Benno. Good boy, Benno. Good. That's my boy. Good. There you go. Good boy, Benno. Good. Benno, down. Good. And what's great about this is Joker is giving no body language. He's neutral, right? Because he understands what's going on. He's not giving the dog any eye contact. He's not doing anything that might entice the dog to be stupid, right? If I had him, if he was doing that, with any body language, any attitude that would be a negative in this regard, I wouldn't use Joker, right? Because it would be over threshold to try to do that. Or I would give myself a lot more distance to be able to do it, because the other dog would be enticing the dog so much that this dog, Benno, would be over threshold, right? So, all right, that's it for this morning's little demo of where we're at with Benno, but he's a lot better. He was exploding almost at every dog that we'd even get near. So he's a lot better now. Good. Talk to you guys later. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, and Benno, the fearful reactive Malinois. Talk to you later.